यथा नटस्य कृतिभिर्विचेष्टतो दुरत्ययानुक्रमणः समावतु त्रिदृक्षवो यस्य पदं सुमङ्गलं विमुक्तसङ्गा मुनयः सुसाधव चरन्त्यलोकव्रतमव्रणं व्रणे भूतात्मभूता सुहृतः समे गतिः न विद्यते यस्य च जन्म कर्म वा न नामरूपे गुणदोष एव वा तथापि लोकाप्ययसम्भवाय यः स्वमायया तानु अनुकालमृच्छति तस्मै नमः परेशाय ब्रह्मणे नन्तशक्तये अरूपायोरुरूपाय नमः आश्चर्यकर्मणे नमः आत्मप्रदीपाय साक्षिणे परमात्मने नमो गिरां विदुराय मनसश्चेतसामपि सत्त्वेन प्रतिलभ्याय नैष्कर्म्येण विपश्चिता नमः कैवल्यनाथाय निर्वाणसुखसंविदे नमः शान्ताय घोराय मूढाय गुणधर्मिणे निर्विशेषाय साम्याय नमो ज्ञानघनाय च क्षेत्रज्ञाय नमस्तुभ्यं सर्वाध्यक्षाय साक्षिणे पुरुषायात्ममूलाय मूलप्रकृतये नमः सर्वेन्द्रियगुणत्रष्ट्रे सर्वप्रत्यहेतवे असताच्छाययुक्ताय सदा भासाय ते नमः नमो नमस्तेऽखिलकारणाय निष्कारणायाद्भुतकारणाय सर्वागमाम्नाय महार्णवाय नमोपवर्गाय परायणाय गुणा गुणारनिच्छन्न चिदूष्मपाय तच्छोभविस्फूर्जितमानसाय नैष्कर्म्यभावेन विवर्जितागम स्वयं प्रकाशाय नमस्करोमि माद्रिक्प्रपन्नपशुपाशविमोक्षणाय मुक्ताय भूरि करुणाय नमोलयाय स्वांशेन सर्वतनुभृन्मनसि प्रतीत प्रत्यक्दृशे भगवते बृहते नमस्ते आत्मात्मजाप्तगृहवित्तजनेषु सक्तै दुष्प्रापणाय गुणसङ्गविवर्जिताय मुक्तात्मभिः स्वरितैः परिभाविताय ज्ञानात्मने भगवते नम ईश्वराय यं धर्मकामार्थविमुक्तिकामा भजन्त इष्टां गतिमाप्नुवन्ति किं चाशिशोराति अपि देहमव्ययं करोति मेधः हृदयो विमोक्षणम् एकान्तिनो यस्य न कञ्चनार्थं वाञ्छन्ति ये वै भगवत्प्रपन्ना अत्यद्भुतं तच्चरितं सुमङ्गलं गायन्त आनन्दसमुद्रमत्ना तमक्षरं ब्रह्म परं परेशम् अव्यक्तमाध्यात्मिकयोगगम्यम् अतीन्द्रियं सूक्ष्मम् इवातिदूरम् अनन्तमाद्यां परिपूर्णमीढे यस्य ब्रह्मादयो देवा वेदालोकाश्चराचर नामरूपविभेदेन फलज्ञा च कलया कृता यथार्चिषोऽग्ने सवितुर्गभस्तयो निर्वान्ति शम्यान्ति असकृत् स्वरोचिषः तथा यतोऽयं गुणसम्प्रवाहो बुद्धिर्मनखानि शरीरसर्गः स वै न देवासुरमर्ततिर्यं न स्त्री न षण्ढो न पुमान् न जन्तुः नायं गुणः कर्म न सन्न चाशन् निषेधशेषो जयतादशेषः जिजीविषे नायम् इहामुया किम् अन्तर्बहिश्चात्र ये भयोन्या इच्छामि कालेन न यस्य विप्लवस्तस्यात्मलोकावरणस्य मोक्षम् सोऽहं विश्वसृजं विश्वं विश्ववेदसं विश्वात्मानमजं ब्रह्म प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम् योगरन्धितकर्माणो हृदि योगविभाविते योगिनो यं प्रपश्यन्ति योगेशं तं नतोऽस्म्यहम् नमो नमस्ते नमो नमस्तुभ्यं असाय वेग शक्तित्रयायाखिलधिगुणाय प्रपन्नपालाय दुरन्तशक्तये कतीन्द्रियाणाम् अनवाप्यवर्त्मने नायं वेद स्वमात्मानं यच्छत्याहं धियात्महं तं दुरत्ययमहात्म्यं भगवन्तं वितोऽस्म्यहम्। ये मां स्तु ये मां स्तुवन्ति अनेन नङ्ग प्रतिबुद्ध्या निषत्यये तेषं प्रणतये यच्चाहं ददामि विपुलं गतिम्। हरे कृष्ण. So I'll quickly read the translation. Sri Sukdev Goswami continued, thereafter the king of the elephants, Gajendra, fixed his mind on his heart with perfect intelligence and chanted the mantra which he had learnt in his previous birth as Indradumna, and which he remembered by the grace of Lord Krishna. The king of the elephants, Gajendra, said, I offer my respectful obeisances.
Ataji, it will take a long time. There are 25 verses.
Okay, Prabhuji. So I
yes.
will not do the translation.
Yes.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, over to you.
Okay, Mataji, thank you very much. Thank you. Very auspicious Gajendra Moksha Stotram in the morning. I welcome all the devotees to the today's session. Now, today we will be studying lesson 154. But before that, let me offer the invocation prayers. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवान् च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितं च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं जयतां सुरतो पुङ्गर्ममन्दमतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदाम्बुजौ राधामदनमोहनौ दिव्याद् बृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमः श्रीमद्रत्नाङ्गर सिंहासनस्थितौ श्रीमद् राधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवौ पृष्ठालीभिसेव्यमानौ स्मरामि श्रीमाद्रासरसारङ्गी वंशीवटतटस्थित कर्षणवेणुस्वनैर्गोपीर्गोपीनाथ श्रियस्तु नः श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। Now we'll offer our obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the six Goswamis of Vrindavan. नमो महापदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरवति से नमः। O most munificent incarnation, you are Krishna himself appearing as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You have assumed the golden color of Srimati Radharani and you are widely distributing pure love of Krishna. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Krishna Varnam Tusa Krishnam Sangopangostra Parsadam Yajne Sankirtana Prayere Yajanti Sumedasa. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Nana Sastra Vicharana ke Nipunau Sadharma Sanstapakau Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manya Saranya Karau. राधा कृष्ण पदारविंद भजनान आनंदेन मत्तालिकौ वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुगौ श्रीजीव गोपालकौ. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunatha Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunatha Dasa Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizing, studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they are honored all over the three worlds and they are worth taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of the divine couple, Sri Radha and Krishna. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. I once again welcome all the devotees to today's session. We will study lesson 154 today. But before that, let us recap what we learned in lesson 153.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandat Pranam for the seva. Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. I seek blessings from the Lord and all the assembled devotees present here to please bless me for the recap. So on Friday, we did lesson 153. Archana Mataji did it. So we'll do a quick recap of it. It's a very long slide, so I'll try to cover as much as possible. Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. So there was this dialogue between the king Yadu and this Avadhuta Brahmana, and we will discuss all the important points based on that. So my first question is, from where does the Avadhuta gain wisdom?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna
Avdut,
Mataji.
Brahman Avdut got wisdom from the natural elements and living beings
Yes.
also. And natural elements, for example, there's earth, air, wind, sky, and all these. From all these, he got wisdom, and he and he thought that this wisdom can be attained through the observations of the world around us. We can
Yes.
get wisdom, knowledge from any of the elements, any smallest elements, and we have to pay no charges, etc.
Yes.
for this. This is free service,
Yeah.
so everyone can achieve this wisdom knowledge
Correct.
from this.
Thank you, Mataji. You answered my next question also. So I will go ahead. Is what does earth and the mountain stand for?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. So,
Dandavat
Earth,
Pranam, Prabhuji.
yeah, tolerance Mataji. Okay, from the earth point of view, it is a tolerance. Whatever you do, it tolerate all of us actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, selfless service Mataji from the trees point of view and also mountains point of view. Okay, which we can see. Whatever you do, you cut again, it will continue giving oxygen to us, and it can continue. It always continue giving fruits for us. Yeah, selfless
Yes.
service. It doesn't expect anything in return, Matas. Yeah,
Yeah.
tolerance and
So
selfless service. Yeah.
thank you, Prabhuji. So nicely explained. So I'll go to the third point. Uh, One more thing was mentioned here, which I missed, I guess. Yes, here in the second point, it is mentioned that true strength lies in patience and altruism. What is anybody knows the meaning of altruism? Okay, altruism means thinking of others, doing things for others, not just for oneself. That is altruism. That is actually seva only. But in seva also, there is like doing seva, keeping in mind one's own comfort. And one seva is wherein you are always thinking of other person's point of view and above yourself. That is altruism. Okay, so I'll go ahead to the next slide. The points over here are detachment and self-realization. Uh, my question is, according to the Avdhuta, what paves the path to higher knowledge and self-realization?
According to this, it teaches us that true wisdoms come from cultivating. We have to get detached from the material things and sense gratification. That is the higher knowledge and self-realization, which leads to the path of bhakti and Godhead.
Perfect. Yes. So these two things are very important. That is detachment from the material possessions and sensory gratification. Without that, it is not possible to progress on this path of enlightenment. Thank you, Mataji. Then,
One more, one more
yes,
point,
Mataji.
Mataji. There is a
Yeah.
great relationship between detachment and self-realization. When anybody get detached from the worldly activities, he get self-realization, self-knowledge, and in other it is a vice versa. We can say that when we get self-realization, we are we are going to be detached. We are
Yeah.
after getting realization, the individual gets a detachment, and we can say in other way, these both terms are vice versa. If there is detachment, then self realization, self knowledge automatically comes. We get
Yes.
one thing, we get the other thing comes automatically.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct. You're
Am I
right,
right?
Mataji. Yes, yes. In a way, what you're saying is that if you're truly self-realized, you will not get entangled into the material attachments. You will
Yes.
perform your duty, but at the same time, you will not get entangled into the material, in the material world or with your material relationships.
Mataji, in
Yes,
other
Navya.
words, when we attach more and more towards Lord, then automatically detachment happens.
Detachment, correct, correct. Yes, Mataji. So they always say do's and don'ts, no? So if there are so many things that we don't have to do, there are certain things that we should do. So when it gets impossible to, or it is not possible for you, it is not in your capacity to leave certain things, you should do more and more the things that you can do. Ultimately, what will happen? The don'ts will start going away. The negative will start going away. So you should focus on the positive. Yes, Raksha Mataji, so nice. Thank you, Rajkumari Mataji. Then I come to the next question that where does the authentic happiness is lying? Where is the authentic happiness?
In spiritual growth.
In spiritual growth. Why do we have to detach ourselves from material possessions?
Because it's
Because
transient. It's transient.
yeah, it
Transient.
transient, and we have to focus on the
God
transcendental.
devotion. Mental.
Yeah, yes. Thank you, Mataji. To what is the Brahmana equating the soul?
That is, soul is equating to wind and sky, Mataji.
Okay. Why, Prabhuji? Can you highlight more on that?
Because the main reason for that is, okay, they are being unaffected. Okay. Um, Unaffected. Whatever you do, okay, they're being unaffected. In the same way, it is saying that our material duties also should be unaffected. Okay, for our spiritual growth, whether you put a
Yeah,
pain or good or evil, so you should
yeah,
continue.
yeah.
We
One
have
Sorry.
to
has
come
to
out from the duality.
dualities. Yes, correct.
Duality, yeah. In
Yes,
a simple word, duality, right word.
yeah. And what is the like this metaphor is illustrating the critical need for what?
Equanimity and
Equanimity.
life
Equanimity.
balance
Equanimity challenges. Yeah, right.
is
Yeah,
essential for spiritual growth.
correct. Very nice. Thank you. So I'll just go ahead to the next point. Uh, to what is a saintly person compared to?
It compares like
Uh,
with water.
Okay. Symbolizing what?
Ability to
Purity.
purify others through their presence and
Whatever
teachings.
happens to our
Just like
hands, like
water
immediately
purifies.
we go back to water. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead,
Yes.
Mataji. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Yeah, all of you answered. That was nice. And all the answers are correct. So this particular metaphor is illustrating what?
Transformation power.
Transformation.
Okay, a genuine spiritual practices, okay, definitely
Mm,
transforms and purifies us. It will
yeah,
definitely take some anarthas. So we have to
yeah,
continuously check, okay, and see what anarthas has gone, or the intensity of anartha, at least, is it going or not? Okay, if we
mm,
don't do that checks, we don't know whether our spiritual growth is there or not, Mataji.
yeah. A true, genuine spiritual practitioner here is highlighted. जैसा पारस मनी दूसरे को भी गोल्ड बना देता है. One candle lights the other. Hence, one pure devotee changes,
Association
transforms
with
other
sadhu sang.
person.
Sadhu.
Yes,
Hmm.
correct, Mataji. I was coming to that. So, yes, since you mentioned Sadhu Sang, Rajkumari Mataji, why is Sadhu Sang essential?
Because, sadhu teachings from that sadhu sang, and
Spiritual advancement and
Puri-
purification. Just now I
purification.
Means the
said.
Yeah, yeah,
purification. When we get the
Ah,
sadhu sang, we get
yeah.
purified.
Purified.
yeah, correct. So, Sadhu Sang is important because then we come in contact with the pure devotees of the Lord. And that's how transformation happens in us also. And that is the reason a saintly person is compared to a water, because they purify us and everybody around.
Yes.
Okay. So, yes, anyone? Prasad Prabhuji, you were saying something.
No, nothing, Mataji. Okay, it's the same actually. I'm trying to say. So, unless you have a sadhu sangha, okay, a sadhu illustrates his life. Okay, his or her life.
Mm.
So through that we
Mm.
get inspiration,
Inspiration.
Mataji.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we make little progress in our advancement, and that will purify us. So
Yes.
purify means like it will remove some anarthas. Okay, we born with so many anarthas in this life.
Okay.
Caught up. Yeah.
Yes, I will add one more point to your point. That just now what you said, just uh, see, if one is unable to do anything, suppose you are in a situation that you can't do anything else, even when chanting also is not possible, uh, just sadhu sang, don't leave sadhu sang, because that will again put you back to the track. So sadhu sang is of utmost importance. Okay. Then we come to the next point is, question is, what is the nature of material life and of the soul? Point number 6. Litasaki Mataji, you want to answer?
Um, just like body goes through the changes, and the soul is eternal. No?
Mm.
So, just like moon of waxing and waning, so it keeps
Mm.
changing. So similarly, our body has got the phases because it is material,
Mm.
and so, but the soul is eternal one.
Yeah,
And so one should focus on the truth of the
eternal.
self and not
Yeah,
just the external appearances. If one wants to elevate on this intrinsic relationship with Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
correct. Thank you, Mataji.
दूसरा पॉइंट
Okay.
माता जी यहाँ पर ये आता है कि अब हम ये बॉडी में रहते हैं तो टू मेंटेन द बैलेंस वी हैव टू डू सम रिलेटिव मटेरियल ग्रेटिफिकेशन अदरवाइज नॉट
Yeah. जितना जरूरी है
टू
उतना
मेंटेन द
करके
बॉडी
yes, yes.
मेंटेन
Whatever is required to be done and then go ahead. Okay. So that means we don't have to get stuck anywhere else. We have to keep focus on the spiritual life and keep progressing on that field, on that
वन सेंटेंस जर्नी फोकस ऑन योर जर्नी
journey.
अर्चना
Correct.
माता जी
Yeah, in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we have that photograph also, no? So how life keeps changing from
Yeah,
childhood
correct.
to
Yes, yes.
death. Yes, yes.
Very nice. Thank you for
Mm.
mentioning that. Okay. So, slide 4. How is individual soul and Paramatma? Just now.
souls are diverse and pervasive. They
Hmm.
remain distinct from Supreme Soul, he is not indivisible and omnipresent.
And what is their relationship?
The relationship between them is just it illumines the emphasize that unique role with creation with the Paramatma, Super Soul, Jiva and Paramatma.
Jiva is a part and parcel of the
That's
Paramatma.
Super Soul
And inside every Jiva, Paramatma is there,
residing.
reside. What does it clarify? And what is the conclusion of all these themes?
It clarifies the hierarchy of existence, and
Yes,
it affirms that Supreme Personality of God is the Supreme.
yes. Thank you, Mataji. And can anybody conclude all these points together? What are the conclusions? Prasad Prabhuji, would you like to try?
Oh, yes, Mataji. Okay, by seeing the nature, okay, by understanding these things, so we will have a spiritual growth, Mataji. And then we will have multiple things like a detachment, selfless service, and then relationship with all the jivas, like a all the souls, okay. And also we get the relation with Supreme Mataji. So, so we can learn, okay, the spirituality as well, spirituality from this nature, Mataji, from this
Yes,
nature. Okay, that is a key thing, summarizing for all of us. Yeah.
yes,
All in all, complete framework. We get
yeah,
the complete framework, so we can progress.
Yes.
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 Thank you all. So very nicely put. I'll quickly proceed to slide number 5. What are the dangers of attachment and material affection? Well, that's the reason I did Gajendra Moksha today. What are the dangers of attachment and material affection?
It gives complete suffering,
Hmm.
suffering and suffering.
And then
Yes,
downfall, Mataji.
Ultimately
What?
downfall. Ultimately
Ultimate.
one's downfall.
Because attachment gives the downfall. Yes, Mataji. Yeah. Yeah.
And through what we can see that, which, like here,
Pigeon. The
pigeon.
pigeon.
Regions.
Pigeon is too much attached with his families and children and wife. And all.
Mm.
And
Yes.
as the example of bondage, it shows in this
Yeah.
material life. Yeah.
And also at somewhere I have heard like if you are like that kind of too much attached, Mataji, okay,
Yes.
with opposite, then you get a life of pigeon.
Yeah.
Somewhere
Correct.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like whatever the way you behave, that particular life you end up with, or the way you about whom you're thinking, that particular life you are actually, framing for yourself in the future, preparing yourself for. So, what does Bhakti philosophy advocate?
Balanced approach, Mataji, to love. Okay, that is the key.
Yeah,
So
correct.
importance of love, okay, and that is not the only thing, and we should always remember the purpose of life, and then we should think that like after learning all these things, there is some spiritual responsibilities for all of us, and have the connection with the Supreme. Yeah.
So, what is the purpose of life that you just now mentioned?
Even we have to give the Krishna consciousness to our family also by
Hmm.
any means, direct, indirect, we have to give them.
Yeah.
There should be
According,
balanced
हाँ,
approach. Balanced
हाँ,
approach there should be.
Balanced approach. Yes.
करेक्ट. नहीं, अभी इससे पहले जो भी पॉइंट्स देखे, basis that, what is the purpose of life?
Bhakti.
Yeah, bhakti in what way?
Love
Correct,
for
Bhakti.
Godhead.
Love for
Go
Godhead.
to Godhead.
It's spiritual responsibilities one should shoulder.
Okay, in short, I'll just say of what we learned from the previous side. The purpose is to develop pure love for the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, or to to establish a connection with him through pure devotional service, that is bhakti. And we have to practice not too much, like in balanced approach, having a balanced approach in life, doing selfless service, performing our duties, but without getting attached to material possessions. We have to perform bhakti in the spirit of seva, by serving everyone. So this is what culmination of all the previous slides till now. Okay, thank you very much. That was so nice. So I go ahead to, which is this? Yeah. This particular theme, the illusionary potency, that is Maya. What is this theme emphasizing?
The Maya, it prevents the souls from realizing divine relationship with Krishna.
Yeah.
Key thing is Maya, okay,
Hmm.
is that we forget Mataji. We forget the
Yeah.
essence of this particular life, spiritual essence,
Yes.
the
जहाँ
purpose.
माया है वहाँ अंधकार है, जहाँ कृष्ण है वहाँ प्रकाश है.
I always think, Mataji, this particular thing, like is Maya is catching me or I am catching Maya.
It is actually it is a dual, like two-way. I'm
Yeah,
also
we
catching
always
Maya. That's why
blame Maya.
Maya is entrapping me.
Exactly. I
Because
always
of
blame Maya.
Because
desires,
of
no?
our गुणा प्रभु जी. Because अगर हम
Uh,
तमोगुण में है तो हम पकड़ ही लेंगे ना.
Correct.
exactly. So
Yeah.
actually, we should not blame Maya. We should blame. I should blame myself. Okay,
Our
because I
desires.
am
Our
yes,
desires.
our
Correct.
desires.
Correct. Yeah. Perfect.
But there is a one benefit of this. It highlights the necessity to recognize the life's illusions to attain true liberations.
Yeah. So
And
Maya
just
is,
ignore the distractions on this path.
yeah. Maya is helping us also, like
Yes.
how Rajkumari Mataji said. It is
Yes.
helping us also. We have to be vigilant. We have to be alert that we should not get distracted. Okay, so we'll go to next slide. What is this particular theme is, second, cycle of suffering. So what is this particular theme urging the individuals to seek?
Mataji, you can take another 12, 13 minutes. By 7:20 you finish.
Yes.
There is no requirement to cover every point, cover the important points only.
Yes, Prabhuji. I'll do that only. Okay. So I'll continue with this particular slide. What is this theme of cycle of suffering urging the individual to seek?
Doing
To
happiness
seek
through devotion.
divine to get knowledge and to get
Yeah.
love towards divine.
Enduring happiness through devotion. Our transient material pleasure को छोड़ देना चाहिए.
Yeah.
The pigeon's
Correct.
tail gives us a caution that fleeting
Yeah.
into our material life and too much of attachment, we get entangled in the cycle of sufferings, the birth
Yeah.
and death.
Correct. Thank you. And what is required in the spiritual journey and why?
Compassion
Compassion.
required, guidance also.
Correct.
And detachment.
Rajkumari Mataji, there's a critical need for guidance on this journey.
Yes, Mataji.
Sharing wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's very
the
important. Yeah.
the self-realized soul, he shares his wisdom for others so that we get proper guidance how to go ahead for our spiritual upliftment.
Even for individuals, Mataji, even self-realized, we start sharing knowledge because we again recollect that knowledge if you are doing any mistake, Mataji, so that we'll
Yeah.
step back. Yeah.
Yes. Now I come to slide 7. What is this particular theme, futility of material desires, illustrating?
These material desires only give sufferings only, and due to this material desire, we get detached from the God, and again we face suffering and suffering.
We fall into the cycle of birth and death. Thank you, Rajkumari Mataji. So I quickly go ahead to the next slide. What is the role of intelligence in self-realization?
Intelligence helps in to get the knowledge, to recognize self-realization, and this is we get more understanding by this
Yeah,
intelligence.
we don't get trapped. If we are using our intelligence rightly, we don't get trapped.
Trapped.
Then what traits are absent in other forms of life other than human life? What traits are absent in other forms of life?
There is no intelligence, we can say, in other forms of life, no intelligence and no knowledge, and
traits are absent in other
Which
forms
two?
of life.
Which traits are absent, Harsha Mataji?
What we are, self-control and spiritual comprehension, which we need.
Yes, correct. Self-control and spiritual comprehension is lacking in the other forms of life. Okay. So I go to the next slide. What enables individuals to experience the divine profoundly?
Bhakti, the concept of bhakti.
Yeah. You can highlight on that, Rajkumari Mataji, little. How bhakti enables to.
By bhakti, we can attain understanding of the Supreme Lord only.
And then, after gaining the understanding, then what do we do?
We are connected with the
Personal
divine.
connection. Personal connection with the divine.
And how is that?
That emotional engagement enables
Correct.
individuals
Correct.
to experience the divine more profoundly.
Yes. Yes. We will try to connect to Lord emotionally, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, we'll try to connect with him. Okay. What is the Brahmana Avduta exemplifying?
It exemplifies that detachment from material desires.
Yeah.
We should get detached from external circumstances or possessions.
Was in a state of bliss.
Correct. Both the answers are correct. Avdhuta is exemplifying detachment from material desires in order to get the state of bliss. Okay, I go ahead to the last point. What is important in the quest of knowledge and enlightenment?
the individual gets knowledge and enlightenment by the inquiry and and in discussions.
Correct. Yes, very nice. Go ahead, Mataji.
It shows deepened wisdom
Huh.
between King Yadu and Avdut Brahman.
And
Yeah,
the
and
deep
this
knowledge. Sorry,
and
sorry, Mataji.
proper knowledge is cultivated through personal interactions, the
Personal
discussion.
interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So asking Mataji, inquiry, that is where
Yes,
what
correct.
Mataji, okay, Nityasaki Mataji,
Yeah.
that is the base query. Yeah,
Yes.
that starting point and then wonderful conversations with the sadhus, and then the knowledge, and then enlightenment. Everything follows, Mataji.
Yes.
Thank you.
Never,
And my
never
last,
asking in the challenging mood, always in humility
yeah,
mood. Din
in
bhav
the
se
mode
पूछना
of
चाहिए.
humility, one should seek knowledge.
Exactly. That is very important.
Just not like Vad Vivad, no?
Yeah.
Yes.
Not in challenging
Okay.
mode.
With the objective of gaining knowledge and not with the objective of
Challenging.
challenging the person from whom you're getting knowledge. My last question is, from where can the spiritual lessons be learned?
Sadhu Sangh, that is association. Of,
And in
Understanding
case of,
spiritual philosophy through the
yeah,
context.
and through what was Avduta Brahmana also showed that from
From
where all
the
went.
nature, whatever nature
Correct.
we have, 24 elements, we can learn lots of things.
Great. So learning from nature and transcendental knowledge and liberation, all these points were covered. So I'll go ahead. Tolerance and self-control is also covered previously. Detachment from material qualities, purity and self-realization, nature of soul and the supreme being. All these points are already covered. This particular point of austerity. How does austerity affect spiritual practice? Is it important? What does one gain from austerity?
Strength through austerity.
Strength. It is a very, very important.
Yes.
Self-control, discipline.
Discipline,
Yes.
commitment.
Self-control,
So we
Mataji.
can unaffected by the material contamination.
Yes. We
It
get
will reduce external distractions, Mataji.
yeah. Very nice point. Thank you.
Spiritual development and um, to the self-control, etc., etc.
Yeah. Correct. All these points. All these points. So now just last two slides. I'm just concluding my class. 2 minutes. How does attachment and too much of affection, like what does it do? Attachment and too much of affection. From the pigeons, what do we learn?
Lots of suffering only. They suffering and the cycles of birth and death.
Correct.
All these.
That's a downfall of our
Down.
But also it
spiritual
gives
journey.
awakening, Mataji. Is awakening. Lots of summary. The suffering give awakening. The person's tries to see God
Yeah.
when he faces lots of suffering. He tries to seek God, divine power.
When one
Yeah.
person is exhausted too much in material existence, material life, then he can think अथा तो ब्रह्म जिज्ञासा. तब
Yeah.
उनका वो शुरू होता है कि अभी
Correct.
why I am suffering too much? What happened?
Yeah.
What is the reasons? Then he can inquire, start inquiring.
Also, there is
And
no
my
limit for this bonding. There's no limit.
yeah.
The more you
Correct.
go inside, more is there, and then
You
more
get
down. Yeah. Give
And the reasons which give us pleasures are also the source of pains.
pains. Correct. Very nice. Yeah.
They themselves are responsible for creating pains.
Yes. Thank you all.
वन
And my
सेंटेंस
last
इज
question.
वेरी मच माता जी कि हमें बहुत अच्छा नहीं बनना है सोसाइटी में, हमें डिवाइन बनना है।
Correct.
बहुत गुड़ी गुड़ी नहीं
Wish-
करनी है, बहुत अच्छा
हाँ.
बन गए, बहुत वो नहीं करना है, वो हमें डिवाइन बनना है। वी हैव टू गिव
Yeah.
कृष्णा कॉन्शियस टू एवरीवन।
Yes.
This is the important point actually. What
Yes,
Mataji?
this is the important. Very, very important.
Very, very
Uh,
important.
yes.
Goody goody. नहीं बनना है.
हाँ.
Anand
अच्छा,
and the same exact.
अच्छा, yeah. अच्छा दिखाना नहीं है, अच्छा बनना है। अच्छा खुद को दिखाना नहीं है, अच्छा बनना है। All right, the last point, I'm just winding up. The last point, what are the consequences of neglecting spirituality? This is my last question.
First of all, you will get that lamenting Mataji. Okay. Because nothing practice the spiritual practices, so much of lamenting. The purpose of life, everything is gone because of the whatever applications he or she is thinking. Yeah.
The opportunity is very for a limited time period, no, Prabhuji? So we miss that opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the cause of suffering also.
That will be the cause of suffering. Once the time goes, then we will lament कि time
अगर
waste
अगर
कर दिया.
हमारी लाइफ जो है वो बिना सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन की खत्म होती है तो वी डिड द स्पिरिचुअल सुसाइड।
Yes, perfect. So we will end up at that note. Thank you everyone for participating so nicely. Over to you, Prabhuji. Dhanvad pranam.
Wonderful done,
Thank you,
Mataji. Some,
Mataji. Wonderful session.
as
Thank you,
usual,
Mataji.
wonderful job.
Wonderful.
No, Dhanvad pranam to all of you. Thank you for participating.
Mataji, thank you very
थैंक
much.
यू माता जी, समता माता जी, वंडरफुल।
And thank everybody for participating so actively in the discussion. Now we'll start with the day's lesson. And today's lesson is 154. And 154 is the story of Pingala, the prostitute. Instructions Avaduta received from 9 of his 24 gurus, beginning with the Python. Now, the major story is the story of the Pingala that we'll see at the end. But before that, the balance 8 gurus, the Avaduta Brahmana had identified from whom he learned that those things will learn. In a very brief, I'll tell you about this story of the Pingala. The other things we'll learn when we go through the slides. Now here what is happening, Lord Krishna, he is telling Uddhava how the Avaduta Brahmana explained Maharaj Yadu the various instructions he had received from the 9 of his gurus, beginning with the Python. Now, regarding the Pingala story, there was once a prostitute named Pingala in the city of Videha. Videha is Mithila. And from her, the Avaduta learned another lesson. That is, one day she dressed herself in very attractive clothing and ornaments and was waiting for from sunset until midnight for a customer. She waited in great anticipation, but as the time passed, her mind became very, very uneasy, and no man came to see her. And in disgust, she finally became renounced, giving up hankering for the arrival of a person. Thereafter, she engaged herself in thinking of the Supreme Lord Sri Hari, and her mind achieved the supreme platform of peace. The instruction received from her is that hopes for sense gratification are the root causes for suffering. Therefore, only one who has given up such hankering can fix himself or herself in meditation upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead and achieve transcendental peace. We'll go to the next slide. Now, the 9 persons from whom the Avadhuta Brahmana he learned various things, we'll see in detail. The python, the ocean, the moth, the honeybee, the elephant, the honey thief, the deer, the fish, and lastly the pingala. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. Now, the passage draws from the profound teachings of the Avadhuta Brahmana, who imparts wisdom through evocative metaphors and lessons rooted in nature. Below are the key thematic elements identified within the text, the description, rational and philosophic significance. Now, detachment and acceptance. The opening instruction powerfully encourages the cultivation of detachment and the acceptance of whatever life presents, paving the way for profound inner tranquility. If we want inner tranquility or inner peace, then we have to accept whatever comes in its own way. We should not make much endeavor to obtain them because it is ordained by our prarabdha. Then the second point is this concept lies at the heart of the Avadhuta Brahmana's teachings, emphasizing the necessity of letting go of attachments to fleeting material possession and ephemeral outcomes. We have seen this in various examples. When one gets attached to the fleeting the material possessions, all anything material we possess, that is temporary. It will stay with us for some time only. It will not stay for us permanently. Like somebody is very rich, you see, he does not remain rich or that much rich all the time. He loses money also, he gets more money also. That is part of his prarabdha. And he will get it even if he does not make any endeavor. That is what is the secret. And it illustrates that authentic engagements with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is achieved through release of worldly desires. One should not have desires, fostering a peaceful existence centered on spiritual aspirations. Equanimity. What is equanimity? Equanimity is calmness and composure, especially in difficult situations. Now, the lesson drawn from the ocean captivates with the sage's remarkable ability to remain unaffected by external turmoil. As you know, in this material world, the turmoil in the external world is too much, and we are being taught to remain calm and quiet, embodying stable and balanced mindset, to have a balanced mindset. But please remember, the Maya is also acting on us. That's why it is not so easy. We may say it so easily. And this idea highlights the imperative for cultivating mental equilibrium, suggesting that spiritual practice demands steadfastness amid life's inevitable fluctuations. There are so many fluctuations, there are so many issues, so many problems, but we should have mental equilibrium. We should maintain mental equilibrium. Equanimity serves as a cornerstone for spiritual growth, empowering practitioners to maintain unwavering devotion regardless of changing material circumstances. The material circumstances may change in the material world, but if our spiritual growth is proper, then we will be very calm and composed, especially in very, very difficult situations. Now, what is happening here? The Brahmana is telling the king that happiness will be experienced even without one seeking it. Even if you do not want happiness, it will come. And if you, even if you do not want the troubles will come to you automatically. Therefore, there is no requirement of endeavoring for any of these things. Therefore, the person who is intelligent, who should use his discrimination to obtain such material happiness. One should not uselessly waste his life pursuing material sense gratification, because specific quantity of material happiness will automatically come to one as a result of one's past and present fruitive activities. Then the list, okay, then next, the person is Python. What the Avadhuta Brahmana learned from it, let us see. from the python. Python does what? It sits down there, waits for a prey, and the prey comes of its own only. Therefore, from it one should learn that one should give up material endeavors and accept for one's maintenance that comes of its own accord, whether such food be delicious or tasteless, ample or meager. But does it teach us to sit in the at home and do nothing at all? No, it is not that. We should do our normal duty, what is as per our what is our religion, what is given in the Shastras, Varna and Dharma. We should do that and expect the Supreme Lord to give whatever we require. It is His responsibility. If at any time food does not come, then a saintly person should fast for many days without even making an effort. And he should understand that by God's arrangement, he must fast. Thus, following the example of the python, he should remain peaceful and he should remain patient all the time. And if by God's arrangement one is forced to suffer material hardship, then one should think that due to my past sinful activity, I am now punished this way. And a saintly person should remain peaceful and materially inactive, maintaining his body without much endeavor. Much endeavor means should make some endeavor, but should not go out of the way, should not work 24 hours in a day for that. And that is what is being taught by the Avadhuta Brahmana. And even though possessed of full sensual, mental, and physical strength, a saintly person should not become active for material gain, but rather should always remain alert to his actual self-interest. Self-interest is God realization. Then what about the ocean? Then the saintly sage is happy and pleasing in his external behavior, whereas internally he is most grave and he is very, very thoughtful. Because his knowledge is unlimited, he is never disturbed, and thus in all respects, he is like the waters in the ocean. Like during the rainy season, the swollen rivers rush to the ocean. So much of water comes, but there is no change in the level of water in the ocean itself. That is what one should learn. A sincere devotee of the Lord is always eager to meet the Lord and render him devotional service, transcendental service. He wants to remain fixed as an atom at the lotus feet of the Lord, because Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure. Let us go to the next slide. Danger of sensual attachment. The cautionary tale of the moth offers a stark warning against falling prey to sensory temptations, particularly the allure of beauty and desire. Now, if there is a fire, then the moth is generally automatically attracted. It enters the fire and dies there. And from that, we should also learn, and this theme underscores the grave risks of associating with losing mastery over one's senses. One should control his senses, which can precipitate a spiritual decline. It emphasizes the critical need for self discipline. We should have self discipline, we should discipline our own selves, and not only that, we should depend on others, we should ourselves discipline our senses. Vigilance along the spiritual path, and as attachments can significantly divert one's focus from the goal of divine union. And then this simplicity and humility, the guidance from the bumblebee and honeybee advocates for a humble approach to gathering sustenance and knowledge, heralding the virtue of moderation. We'll discuss about this a little more. And this theme champions the importance of simplicity in both lifestyle and learning, which is often discarded in our material-driven society. It invites seekers to prioritize spiritual truths over material access, reinforcing the notion that humility is indispensable for authentic spiritual advancement. Simplicity and humility, they are very great qualities of a devotee, and one who has failed to control his senses immediately feels attracted upon seeing so many things in this material world. And this is what is happening to the moth. It is maddened by the fire and rushes blindly into the flames and dies there. Now, Sridhar Swami, he explains in this regard that as the moth is killed by its attraction to fire, similarly, a bee can easily be killed by exploiting its attraction to the fragrance of flowers. It goes to the flowers, and at the end of the day, the petals they close, and the insect dies there. Then also the hunters may trap and kill an elephant. This also we'll see how it is done. Okay, then next is a foolish person who has no intelligence, no discrimination, is immediately aroused at the sight of so many things which come in the material world. He should be one should be very careful. Then let us talk about the honeybee. The saintly person should accept only enough food to maintain his body and soul together. He should go from door to door accepting just a little bit of food from each family. Thus, he should practice the occupation of the honeybee. Sometimes the honeybee is attracted by the extraordinary aroma of a particular lotus flower and lingers there, neglecting his usual activity of flying from flower to flower. But unfortunately, at sunset, the lotus flower closes, and thus this honeybee is trapped. Similarly, a person may discover that excellent foodstuff is available at a particular house, and therefore, instead of wandering from place to place, he may become a veritable resident of such a well-fed household. Just as honeybee takes nectar from all flowers, big and small, an intelligent human being should take the essence from all religious scriptures. A saintly person should not think that this food I'll keep to eat tonight and this is other food I can save for tomorrow, like this. For the saintly persons, keeping anything, storing anything is not permitted. A saintly person should not even collect foodstuff to eat later, like the Brahmara. Go to the next slide. Awareness of deception, how one gets decepted and suffers in life. The lesson from the elephant poignantly illustrates the perils of attachment, showcasing how it can lead to one's downfall through deception while stressing the need for caution. This theme draws attention to the potential distractions and dangers lurking in attachments, particularly with relationships and desires. So we'll see this in detail. It serves as a vital reminder regarding the necessity for discernment in our interactions, promoting awareness of the ephemeral and often deceptive nature of the material world. We should know that whatever comes or seen by us in the material world, they are all deceptive. We should not go after this deception, otherwise we will be trapped like the elephant. Now, the consequences of overindulgence, the teaching shared through the deer and fish dramatically highlight the dire repercussions of indulging in sensory pleasures and distractions. How the deer gets trapped, how the fish gets caught, and this theme interlinks the concept of attachment with tangible outcomes, illustrating how succumbing to sensory carvings can lead not only to spiritual decline but also to physical peril. One can be physically harmed, and also there will be spiritual decline. That is for a human being. But for others like deer and fish, they get killed. It reinforces the vital principle that indulgence can significantly distance one from spiritual objectives, urging practitioners to contemplate the long lasting consequences of their choices, what our choices will give us. Now, please let us examine these points a little more closely, because these are very, very important points. The Avaduta Brahmana has learnt and he is detailing the king. Now, a saintly person should never touch a young girl. In fact, he should not even let his foot touch a wooden doll in the shape of a woman. And by bodily contact with a woman, he will surely be captured by illusion, just as the elephant is captured by the she elephant due to his desire to touch her body. Now, how the elephant is captured in the jungle? A large hole is dug, it is covered with grass and leaves and bird, etc. And then the she elephant is exhibited in front of the male elephant. And the male elephant chases after her and falls in the that big hole, and he is captured. And thereafter, what happens? He is kept there, not being fed anything for a number of days, and gradually he is captured. The lesson to be learned from the elephant is that the desire to relish the touch sensation is certainly the cause of running one's life, like the elephant. And therefore, an intelligent person, noting that elephant's great propensity to sport with the she elephant, will take this example to the heart. We should learn from the elephant. A man possessing intelligent discrimination should not, under any circumstances, try to exploit the forms which are seen in the material world, just like the elephant. Okay, next, the value of renunciation. Now, the insightful lesson from the honey thief accentuates the importance of appreciating the fruits of others' labor while embracing a renounced lifestyle. Honey thief, what he is doing? He steals the honey which is gathered by somebody else, reflecting themes of selflessness and gratitude. One should have gratitude, one should be without any selfish motivation, selfish attitude. And this theme elucidates the ethical dimensions of spiritual living, where the renounced individual takes only what is essential while honoring the efforts of others. The Lord has given us our share. We should not take more than that. In the context of spiritual teachings, ethical conduct may involve practicing non-violence, truthfulness, non-stealing, and showing respect for all living beings. These are very, very important qualities. There is no requirement to be violent to the others. There is no requirement to be untruthful, and there is no requirement for taking away the share of somebody else. And we should always respect all living beings, not only human beings, but everybody else who is living. And it reveals that genuine renunciation transcends deprivation, focusing on conclusively and consciously appreciating and sharing the resources of the material world. The resources of the material world, they are unlimited. There is enough. But what is happening? Some people, they have amassed so much of things for themselves and for their future, that others are getting deprived of these things. That's why there is poverty in this material world. Otherwise, the Supreme Lord has given enough, and He has provided enough in this material world. And in conclusion, Collectively, these thematic elements illuminate a path steeped in spiritual wisdom, advocating for detachment, equanimity, self discipline, simplicity, awareness, and ethical living. We have discussed about all these things, and they provide profound insights into navigating the complexities of life, steadfastly maintaining a focus on the Supreme. Instead of focusing on the material things, we should focus on the Supreme. Now, what is happening here? A greedy person accumulates a large quantity of money with great struggle and pain, working for 24 hours in a day for 365 days in a year. But the person who has struggled so much to acquire this wealth is not always allowed to enjoy it himself or to give it in charity to others. And this greedy person is like the bee who struggles to produce a large quantity of honey, which is then stolen by a man who will enjoy it personally or sell it to others. This is the way we get honey. And no matter how carefully one hides his hard earned wealth or tries to protect it, there are those who are expert in detecting the whereabouts of such valuable things, and they'll steal it one day. One should, therefore, there is no requirement to amass so much of money or wealth or things. And one may argue that a wealthy man may conceal his money, but by investing in the banks, stocks, or properties, and so on, so that nobody can steal it. But still, there is danger of theft. Only foolish people actually hide money by burying it in the ground, as it used to happen in earlier times, or placing it under the bed. But despite the fact that a majority of the world's wealth has been accumulated in highly developed capitalistic countries, these countries are being severely challenged by many enemies. Therefore, the enemies are always there. And just as a hunter takes away the honey laboriously produced by the honeybee, similarly, saintly mendicants, such as brahmacharis and sannyasis, they are entitled to enjoy the property painstakingly accumulated by household people dedicated to family enjoyment. And a saintly person dwelling in the forest in the renounced order of life, that is a sannyasi, should never listen to songs or music promoting material enjoyment. Why? This is being learned from deer. Now becoming attracted to the worldly singing, dancing, and musical entertainment of beautiful women, even the great sage Rishyasingha, the son of the deer, fell totally under their control, just like a pet animal. This story is given in the Ramayana. Rishyasingha, he became the son-in-law of King Romapada, and Rishyasingha married Santa, who was actually the elder sister of Lord Rama, and she was a daughter of King Dasratha. Now, from the fish, what the Avadhuta Brahmana learned, just as a fish is incited by the desire to enjoy his tongue, is fatally trapped in the fisherman's hook. Similarly, a foolish person who is bewildered by the disturbing urges of the tongue, he also gets ruined. Uh, and although one may conquer all the other senses, as long as the tongue is not conquered, it cannot be said that one has controlled his senses. This is very, very important. By eating, one gives energy, one gives energy and activity to all the senses. And thus, if this tongue is uncontrolled, all the senses they remain uncontrolled. They cannot be controlled. Therefore, by all means, one must control the tongue. If one fasts, then all the other senses become weak and lose their potency. Therefore, the system of fasting in the Vaishnava system And the tongue, however, becomes more greedy to taste various delicious preparations. And when one finally indulges, the tongue, all kinds of the all the senses, they quickly go out of control. And therefore, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur advises that one should accept only Mahaprasad or what has been offered to the Supreme Lord or the remnants of the Lord's food, but that too in a moderate proportion. Since the tongue's function is also to vibrate, one should vibrate the glories of the holy name of the Supreme Lord and taste the ecstasy of pure Krishna consciousness. And it is given in the Bhagavad Gita and various Shastras how to do it. Let us go to the next slide. The passage draws from the profound teachings. Okay, this sentence is there. We'll see the description, rational and philosophical significance, desire and illusionment. Now comes the Pingala story. Now the character Pingala initially represents a desire as she eagerly waits a customer, embodying her hopes for sensory gratification. However, her eventual disillusionment, marked by the absence of a suitor, leads her to renounce these longings. As I told you the story initially, Pingala, she was waiting for a customer, but nobody came, and that's why ultimately she renounced everything. And this is what the Avadhuta Brahmana learned from her. And this serves as the backbone of narrative, demonstrating the futility of seeking happiness through external means. External material means, they cannot bring any happiness to anybody under any circumstances. Pingala's journey reflects a universal human experience, the relentless pursuit of fleeting pleasures. One thinks what if he earns enough money, then he'll be very, very happy and he will not require anything else, be it material wealth or physical allure. Ultimately, culminates in disappointment. But ultimately, the person will be disappointed because that money has been will be given to him, or he will so-called earn it by his prarabdha only, and that is limited for a particular amount of time. After some time, it will go. Therefore, it should be used for the correct purpose. That is, even for charity, for the Supreme Lord, for the poor people, for the sadhus like this. And one should not keep everything for himself. The shift from desire to renunciation illuminates a critical lesson found across spiritual traditions. True fulfillment arises not from external circumstances, but from cultivating inner peace and sincere connection with the divine. If one worships the Supreme Lord, one is connected with the Supreme Lord, and if one has been able to establish cultivate inner peace, then he will achieve everything, not the other person. And renunciation and liberation, Pingala has a courageous choice to relinquish her yearning for a customer, symbolizes a profound renunciation of worldly attachments and the relentless chase for sensory pleasures. See how fortunate was Pingala. In one night only she realized this thing, whereas there are enough number of human beings in this material world who, after years of chasing after material pleasure, sensory pleasure, they do not learn this thing. But the prostitute, she learned this thing in a night only. And the Avadhuta Brahmana, he learned this great thing from her. And this thing underscores the transformative power inherent in renunciation. And by surrendering her desires, Pingala embarks on a path toward meditation and spiritual serenity. Many spiritual philosophies regard the renunciation as an essential step toward liberation, or what we call moksha. And this notion reinforces the idea that liberation is not achieved by suppressing desires, but rather through a conscious decision to redirect one's focus toward elevated spiritual pursuits. This is very, very important in this lesson. There is no requirement to suppress our desires, but we should take a decision to redirect them for satisfying Krishna's desires, for the Lord's desires. If the Lord's desires are fulfilled, then our desires will be automatically fulfilled. This we have to learn from this prostitute Pingala in the city of Videha, which is known as Mithila, and how she wanted to bring a lover into her house, stood in the outside the doorway from evening till night, but until midnight, but nobody came. And at midnight, she realized that she should not wait anymore, because she became gradually morose and her face dried up, and was filled with anxiety for money and was most disappointed. Then she began to feel a great detachment from her situation, and by doing this, happiness arose in her mind. And it appears from the text in the Srimad Bhagavatam that on that particular night, the prostitute Pingala was not at all successful in attracting customers to her house. And being totally disappointed, she gradually became indifferent to her situation. And thus, great suffering sometimes leads one to enlightenment, like what happened to Pingala. And the prostitute felt disgusted with her material situation and became indifferent. And a human being who is bereft of spiritual knowledge never desires to give up his false sense of proprietorship over the material things. Similarly, a person who has not developed detachment never realizes to give up the bondage of the material body. The prostitute Pingala then said, just see how greatly disillusioned I am, because I cannot control my mind. And just like a fool, I desire lusty pleasure from an insignificant person. And I am such a fool that I have given up the service of that person, that is the Supreme Lord, who is eternally situated in my heart. All the things she learned in that night. And Pingala laments that she chose to serve the most sinful, useless person, useless man, and she falsely thought that they would bring her happiness, and neglected to serve the actual Lord who is in the heart of the person of her, that is the Supreme Lord, Lord Krishna. And she could understand how foolishly she had struggled for money, not knowing that the Supreme Lord is always inclined to award prosperity to his sincere devotees. And the prostitute was proud of her ability to please men, but she now laments that she did not try to please the Supreme Lord by loving service. The Supreme Lord is completely aloof from the transactions of the material world. Lord Krishna is the actual enjoyer of everyone and everything, but one must learn how to please the Lord by pure devotional service. Meditation on the Supreme. Now, following renunciation, Pingala devotes her thoughts entirely to the Supreme Lord, making a pivotal transition from worldly distractions to deep spiritual contemplation. She realized the actual thing in just one night, and this is so great a thing happened to her by the grace of the Supreme Lord. And this thing emphasizes the critical role of meditation and devotion on the divine. Meditation means thinking about the Supreme Lord all the time, and loving devotional service provided to the Supreme Lord. It aligns with the belief that meditating on higher power or the Supreme Being fosters transcendental peace And this perspective highlights devotion as a dynamic form of spiritual practice that helps to transcend personal suffering. And the nature of suffering, the passage posits that the pursuit of sensory gratification is the root cause of all suffering. This has to be understood by all of us and very, very clearly. Pingala's initial turmoil and her subsequent tranquility powerfully illustrate this teaching, and this theme tackles the fundamental human experience of suffering and its underlying causes, making it an essential aspect of the narrative. This is all happening because people want to their senses to be satisfied. But the sense, if the senses of the Supreme Lord is satisfied, then everything will get satisfied automatically. And recognizing the interplay between desire and suffering invites a profound inquiry into the true nature of happiness and fulfillment. It encourages individuals to examine their attachments and discover the peace that lies in detaching from fleeting desires. If one gets rid of the desires, then one will be totally peaceful. Now, the material body, as we know, is like a house where the soul is there and the bones forming the spine, ribs, arms, legs, they are like the beams and cross beams, pillars of the house, and there are 9 doors of this house. And in this city of Videha, the Pingala was thinking, I am alone living there, and I am most foolish person because I neglected the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Supreme Lord is absolutely most dear to any living being. And she realized that men provide sense gratification for women, but all these men and even the demigods in the heaven, they have a beginning and an end. But the Supreme Lord, he does not have a beginning and end. He is ever existing, and they are all. One should not go after all these temporary things. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be pleased with me, Pingala is thinking, without even knowing it. I must have performed some activity satisfying to him. That's why this realization came to her. And this is very, very strange. Okay, the next, transcendental peace. The culmination of Pingala's journey, the attainment of transcendental peace through meditation on the Supreme Lord, because she meditated on the Supreme Lord, she realized the actual thing and she realized that what she had been doing earlier, they should not have been done by her. And this theme encapsulates the essence of her transformation and serves as an inspiration, inspiring resolution to her story. The transcendental peace harmonizes the ultimate goal sought by numerous spiritual paths. It signifies a deep and abiding tranquility that transcends the dualities of pleasure and pain, illustrating the potential for spiritual realization and amid life's challenges. Each of these themes intricately wove into narrative's fabric and philosophical teachings within, illustrating a powerful journey from desire and suffering to tranquility and spiritual fulfillment. One should give up the desires. A person who has developed detachment can give up the bondage of the material society, friendship, love, and a person who undergoes great suffering gradually becomes out of hopelessness, becomes detached and indifferent to the material world. And that's why that is the only reason the Lord brings that to the to his dear devotees automatically, like the gopis of Vrindavan. They were suffering as we see, but they were actually enjoying that relationship with Krishna. Now the prostitute Pingala finally realized that I am now completely satisfied. I have full faith in the Lord's mercy. Therefore, I will maintain myself with whatever comes on its own to me. on its own accord, and I shall enjoy life with only the Lord, because He is the real source of love and happiness. And the intelligence of the living entity is stolen away by the activities of sense gratification. We should understand this. And when the living entity sees that the entire universe has been seized by the serpent of time, he becomes sober and sane, and at the same time detaches herself or himself from the material sense gratification. And then the Avaduta said, her mind completely made up. Pingala cut off all her sinful desires to enjoy pleasure with her lovers, and she became situated in perfect peace, and then she sat down on her bed. We should remember that material desire is undoubtedly the cause of all our unhappiness, and freedom from such desire is the cause of great happiness. Therefore, completely cutting off her desire to enjoy the so-called lovers, Pingala very happily went to sleep. Then the next point, material happiness versus spiritual fulfillment. Pingala was hankering for material happiness in the beginning, but ultimately she got spiritual fulfillment and she became happy. The text draws a powerful distinction between the ephemeral nature of material happiness. The material happiness which we enjoy in this material world, that is ephemeral, means it is temporary. It will be there some time, it will vanish after some time, which stems from the past actions. And why all the happiness coming to us? Because of our past actions. Not that we have done so much of effort in this lifetime, but it is connected to our past also. And the lasting contentment derived from the steadfast spiritual devotion to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, we should render devotional service to the Supreme Lord. And this compelling contrast emphasizes the urgent necessity to embrace the spiritual path. Those who have not adopted this path should immediately adopt to this path, so that happiness will return to them. And by comparing the experiences of happiness and suffering in heavenly and hellish realms, now please remember that not only suffering is there in the hellish planets, but it is also there in the heavenly planets, because after they have enjoyed, they have to come back to this material world, which is full of miseries only. The text reveals the illusory quality of material achievement, and this theme powerfully illustrates the futility of seeking material sense gratification. This point is repeated again and again so that it remains in our mind always, urging readers to focus on spiritual practice as the true pathway to everlasting happiness. If anyone wants everlasting happiness, happiness should not go away from him, then he should indulge himself or herself in spiritual practice only. The example of the python. Now the python symbolizes acceptance of one's life necessitated without excessive struggle, embodying a lifestyle of simplicity and truth and divine provision. This we saw how the python sits in one place without endeavoring in anything, but food comes to him, comes to the snake automatically. Unlike creatures that bored or frantically seek sustenance, the python represents the ideal of containment and patience. With patience, the python waits and he is totally contented. And this theme advocates for prioritizing spiritual advancement over material accumulation, nurturing a profound mindset of reliance and self guidance. Next slide, detachment from sense gratification. The text powerfully cautions against the perils of indulging in sensory pleasures. We saw in very great detail, thus vividly examples of moth, bees, fish. The narrative illustrates how attachments to sensory experiences inevitably leads to destruction and entrapment. They get destroyed, they get killed, they get caught because of this quality. And this theme underscores the critical necessity of self-control. One should have control over his own mind and senses, and discernment in navigating the material realm, reinforcing that detachment is vital for achieving spiritual growth. Detachment is a must, and service to God is the ultimate goal, the final or the ultimate responsibility of every human being is to serve the Supreme Lord under all circumstances. The passage passionately emphasizes that channeling one's efforts into serving Krishna embodies the most meaningful pursuit and ultimately leads to genuine liberation. The revelation that reaching the Supreme Lord yields enduring happiness, not otherwise. And this theme powerfully conveys the foundational devotional principle that authentic fulfillment arises not from selfish desires but from selfless service. To whom? To the Supreme Lord only, not to any individual or even to any demigod. Next slide, the role of the tongue and senses. This also we saw in very great detail. The text illustrates the pivotal importance of mastering the tongue to control all the other senses. If the tongue is controlled, all the other senses will get automatically controlled. Highlight the vital relationship between the physical appetites and spiritual awareness. The tongue is positioned as the primary source of temptation, capable of leading one astray if not disciplined. Therefore, there are so many rules and regulations what to eat, what not to eat, and to eat at what time and what quantity. All these things are given in the Shastras. This is for this reason, so that we are able to control all our senses. And the nature of a saintly person, saintly individual is portrayed as internally composed and reflective while remaining outwardly serene and undisturbed. This contrast between external demeanor and internal depth reflects the richness of spiritual realization and emotional steadiness. Let us go to the next slide. Actually, there are about 24 slides. Toward the end, I will go a little faster also. Charity and community support. The text emphasizes obligations of householders to support renounced devotees and underscores the significance of charity and spiritual practice. Now, what is the responsibility of the householders? To support the brahmacharis and the sannyasis. Therefore, they should give in charity and support them. The theme reflects the interconnected nature of spiritual life, affirming that various roles within society work together for a common purpose. All are part of the society, and one should support each other, and that's how this practice will carry on. And this reinforces the necessity of selflessness and generosity within a spiritual community. And avoiding material engagements, the text admonishes against the pursuit of wealth and material possessions that foster attachment and suffering. This we saw in all these examples. And this theme serves as a compelling caution against material accumulation. One should not try to accumulate anything more than what is required, because that itself is theft only as per our Shastras. And in conclusion, each of the themes interweaves beautifully throughout the text, offering a rich tapestry of philosophical insights rooted in devotional perspective. Therefore, we should practice devotional service. And with this, let us take a 2-3 minutes break. And in case you have got any questions or comments, you can put them forward. Any question or comments? Okay, if none, then
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
धन्यवाद
तो
प्रणाम।
मुझे पीछे के स्लाइड में जो आया था कि जो हम बहुत पोजेशन में हम एक्यूमुलेट करते हैं तो उसका डर रहता है कि वो चोरी ना हो जाए, चोरी ना हो जाए। तो ऐसा एक किस्सा भी बना है दिल्ली में कि पूरा लोकर चोरी हो गया। जो सब लोग गहने रखते हैं लोकर में, बैंक में, तो पूरा लोकर चोरी हो गया, तो सबके गहने चोरी हो गए।
यस
तो इट
यस
इज वेरी वेरी डिफिकल्ट कि इतना पोजेशन होना नहीं चाहिए जैसे जैसे हमारी मिजरी और बढ़े,
यस
है ना
यस।
प्रभु जी?
There is actually no requirement at all. The Lord is giving enough. We should have satisfaction. We should be satisfied. Keep something, yes, that is all right, even though that is not as per the Shastras, but still then we can keep something, but not too much. Then we'll be very, very happy. Okay, and then I have got another about 10 slides or so. Let us finish them. The illusion and disillusionment. This is, as we learned from the story of Pingala, the material pleasures driven by her yearning for wealth and romantic encounters. Yet she learned the right thing, that if she goes after them, then she is not peaceful at all. But detachment led her to the path to liberation. Pingala's evolving detachment from her material desires signifies not apathy or neglect, but rather a profound catalyst for her metamorphosis. She got transformed into a devotee, and she realized that she should satisfy the senses of the Supreme Lord rather the senses of people. And her indifference toward her circumstances grows. She begins to discover a sense of genuine happiness and liberation. And detachment presents not as a neglect or apathy, but as a necessary step towards spiritual awakening and freedom from the binding of material existence. This we should learn from all our scriptures. That's why everywhere we are being told to be detached. Then the next slide, the nature of happiness. Pingala's journey reveals a stark distinction between fleeting pleasures derived from material pursuits and enduring happiness, which one gets by approaching the Supreme Lord in devotional service. And this theme affirms that real happiness is found in suffering to the Supreme, surrendering to the Supreme, and engaging in devotional service rather than in the transient delights of the material world. And regarding self-realization and identity, in her contemplations, Pingala grapples with her identity as a prostitute versus her true spiritual essence. And it emphasizes the necessity of recognizing one's spiritual identity and the futility of defining oneself solely through the material body, societal roles, wealth, and all these things. Then the next uh, slide. Okay, the role of the divine. What is the role of the Supreme Lord in all these behaviors? This is given in this slide. The passage powerfully conveys that the Supreme Lord is the ultimate benefactor of all beings. He is the only one who can bring happiness to us and nothing else. And what we have to give? We have to offer unconditional love, and He will give guidance, and our desires will be fulfilled. Pingala's awakening to the Lord's presence and her subsequent surrender signified a profound shift in her understanding of life's true purpose. She understood the actual purpose of life by surrendering to the Supreme Lord, and she realized it very, very easily in a very short amount of time, short span of time. suffering as a pathway to enlightenment. Pingala realizes that her suffering and gradual detachment paves the way to enlightenment and deeper connection with the divine. And this theme powerfully suggests that suffering can act as a transformative force, emphasizing that it is not the absence of suffering that matters, but the way we respond to it that nurtures spiritual growth and understanding. This is very, very important sentence. Please understand this. The absence of suffering does not matter, but the way we respond to it and how it comes to us when we become a devotee of the Supreme Lord, this comes to us automatically. And this illustrates the paradox that suffering can be crucial catalyst for spiritual advancement while pursuing spiritual practice, we doing whatever we are supposed to do as a devotee, still we encounter so many obstacles and we suffer also. But we should endure that because good things are coming ahead in course of time. That should be understood. And in conclusions, together these thematic elements profoundly depict the human experience, tracing the journey from material bondage to spiritual enlightenment. They emphasize the genuine contentment is found in the divine connection, not in fleeting material pleasures. Next slide. Detachment from material pleasures. These are the comments of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. What he says, similar things he says, symbolism in spiritual texts such as enduring python and vast ocean illustrates that wise individuals do not chase after fleeting gains but embrace the natural flow of life. One should have total faith on the Supreme Lord, thinking that He will give us whatever we want. Yogo Kheman Vahamyaham. He will protect what we have and He will give what we do not have. If we have total faith on Him, then these things will happen automatically. There is no requirement to work very hard 24 hours in a day and 365 days in a year. We should work for some time, but balance of the time we should spend in devotional service. And this thing challenges practitioners to prioritize spiritual growth over the transient allure of material desires. That's why the requirement from us, we should prioritize our activities. Then we'll get enough time for spiritual practice. Self-control and discipline, the necessity of self-control, particularly over one's senses, emerges as a crucial topic. We should have control over our senses, especially our tongue. If you control the tongue and all other senses, they are controlled automatically. Cautionary tales involving creatures like the moth, fish, and deer demonstrate the importance of maintaining discipline as they highlight the dire consequences of giving over temptation. And then the simplicity and the minimalism. The text champions a life steeped in simplicity. We should lead a simple life with minimum of pleasures, minimum of things, material things attached to us. The python's instinctive behavior and the honeybee's diligent foraging exemplify a minimalist lifestyle that resonates with spiritual ideals. They are practicing all these things and they are happy and embracing simplicity serves as a pathway to spiritual clarity and non-attachment to outcomes. There is a resounding emphasis on remaining unaffected by external circumstances. We should not be affected by so many external circumstances because the material world is like that only. There will be problems only coming in our front. But the saintly individuals voyage mirrors the unwavering stability of the ocean. We should be stable like the ocean. The idea that devotee neither rejoices in prosperity nor sinks into despair as given in the Bhagavad Gita during adversity reinforces the vital concept of equanimity in the spiritual practice. And the Next, the dangers of sensual attachment. And the text vividly illustrates the destructive outcomes of sensual attachment through powerful analogies like the moth, the fish, uh, and these striking comparisons reveal how unchecked desires can lead one to downfall. And this theme underscores the necessity of vigilance against distractions that can derail one's spiritual journey. Therefore, one should be very, very vigilant over one's own self, the nature or the behavior of own senses. One should be very, very vigilant. And the role of providence, embracing one's circumstances as divine orchestrated, is a core tenet of the saintly perspective of life. Acknowledging the role of providence cultivates humility and trust in higher power. We should have total trust, total faith in the Supreme Lord. And the story of Pingala, the importance of knowledge and is that the importance of knowledge and wisdom. The text highlights the wise and serious demeanor of saintly person rooted in a deeper understanding of spiritual truths. Wisdom is depicted as an essential guiding force in spiritual practice, vital for making choices that align with one's ultimate purpose and well-being. Therefore, there is a requirement for us to know what is given in the Shastra, what the sadhus are saying, and then wisdom will come to us and we will practice that in real life. And these thematic elements weave together a compelling vision of spiritual living, illustrating that detachment, discipline, simplicity, and wisdom are indispensable components in the pursuit of a meaningful life. And the detachment from material pleasures, as we learned from Pingala, Pingala embarks on a profound journey of detachment from her material desires. And then she could realize her own self, then illusion of material existence. Pingala's reflections of her past reveal a stark awareness of how she was ensnared by illusions of love and pleasure from insignificant men. This she realized in one evening only, one half of the night, and she became a true devotee of the Supreme Lord. And this thing illustrates the notion that many individuals remain entrapped in illusions of material existence, mistakenly equating temporary pleasures of genuine happiness. Now you see, Pingala, though a prostitute, must not have been well read, but still she realized. But educated people, they do not realize the faults which lie in their character, in their own self. Therefore, we should learn this thing from Pingala, the role of the Supreme Lord. The passage repeatedly evokes Supreme Personality of Godhead as the ultimate source of love, joy, and true satisfaction. Please remember that love, joy, and true satisfaction do not come from material things. And Pingala is awakening to the reality that she has overlooked her intrinsic relationship with the Lord. She realized that all those years she has forgotten the Supreme Lord and she was hankering after these material fleeting pleasures that she realized. And that is her greatness. And that's how, that's why the Avadhuta Brahmana is remembering her and recognition of the body as temporary. Pingala likens the body to a worn-out house, emphasizing its impermanence and the inherent shortcomings of material existence. Like you construct a house, it will stay for some years, maybe 100 years or so, but after that it will get destroyed. Like this material body is going to be destroyed one day, it is not permanent. That's why we should not have so much attachment to this material body. And this theme serves as a powerful reminder of the transient nature of the physical body, urging individuals to focus instead on the eternal soul. The eternal soul, that is the Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, He is permanent. Therefore, we should go after the permanent rather than the temporary. Then mercy and fortune, Pingala interprets her suffering as a manifestation of Lord's mercy. She has rightly recognized that it was a mercy of the Lord. That's why she realized the right thing, that she was not going after, not recognizing the Supreme Lord all these years. And this transformative perspective on suffering as a stepping stone to spiritual awakening reveals a profound understanding of life's challenges, like the Pingala. She could not get any customer till midnight, and that brought suffering to her. And this suffering led her to realize that she has forgotten the Supreme Lord, and thereafter she became very, very happy. And this theme powerfully articulates the idea that adversity can catalyze spiritual growth. And therefore, anything bad happens to us, any problems we face, any disaster we face, we should be totally composed, because that has been brought to us for a purpose by the Supreme Lord. That has to be understood by us. Surrender and faith. The passage culminates in Pingala's definitive decision to surrender entirely to the Supreme Lord, expressing faith that true fulfillment resides within the divine relationship. You see, Pingala, she realized this in such a short period of time, which is not realized by very many learned people also. Her deliberate choice to abandon her previous lifestyle in favor of devotion signifies a monumental transformation in her character and worldview. And this theme encapsulates the essence of bhakti, wherein surrendering to the Supreme Lord, the divine paves the way for liberation from material desires and leads to profound sense of peace and fulfillment. This we should realize always. And in conclusion, these intertwined thematic elements vividly illustrate Pingala's extraordinary journey from a life steeped in material entanglement to one of spiritual awakening, emphasizing the profound importance of detachment, divine love, and recognition of the eternal self. This is what we learn from this story of Pingala. And just one.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Wonderful session, Prabhu.
Now I
Thank you
have
very much.
come to the conclusion of today's class. Now the session is open for question and answer and your comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. So wonderful session, Prabhu. Yeah, Pingala, yeah, and Python. As a recap, and also wonderful. Like we are learning so much from the nature itself. Yeah, that is where so much learning, Prabhu. So what we have to do is, it is not a question, Prabhu. Like we desire so much on certain things in the life, okay, but we may not be getting. So taking the inspiration from the Pingala's life, yes, not getting things done in a right way, on a right fashion, is also good for us. So that itself give a uh, uh, detachment to this material world. So that is also a Lord's will. Okay, we should think, and then we should continue in this life. Please, Prabhu.
Yes, all these material desires, any material desires, it brings unhappiness in our life. And once we align these desires to the Supreme Lord in His service, then we get peace in our mind and we become happy. Happiness is not that if we get enough wealth, enough prosperity, a big house, big car, and all the things, all these things will be happy. It is not that. That is not the happiness we are talking of. We are talking of happiness by aligning with the Supreme Lord, Like you see all these sadhus, these sannyasis, they are totally aloof. They are not meeting anybody. They are taking the name of the Lord, but they are the happiest persons in this material world. Not the ones who are staying in the mansions having lot of money. They are called the richest persons in this world. They are not the happiest persons. The happiest persons are those who are taking the name of the Lord and the Lord is blessing them. So that has to be understood by us very, very clearly.
Yes, Prabhu. Got it. Yeah. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Anyhow, another wonderful session from you. Yeah. Thank you.
Hare
Wonderful
Krishna
slide.
Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam
Even
Prabhuji.
yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Thank
Raksha Mataji.
So wonderful class Prabhuji. So many takeaways. हमें बहुत सीखना
Yeah,
है
Prabhuji,
और अप्लाई भी
that
करना है. Yes Prabhuji,
Prabhuji,
please carry on.
that reminds me of that Isavasham verse. Do you
Yes.
remember? Isavasam
Yes.
yad jagatyam jagat tena jaktena punjidam ma grida kasasvit dharam.
Kasyat
Whatever
vidhanam.
we have, it's our quota that's already been kept separate for us. We don't need to worry about that, you know. Whatever विधि हमारे जो प्रारब्ध में लिखा हुआ है वो तो मिलने ही वाला है उसी टाइम पे, you know. तो ये सोच के किसी और का कुछ जब्त नहीं करना है हमें, you know.
Yes Prabhuji, very true.
Because it is
जैसे हम प्रभु
जो
जी जैसे हम सुख
मिलता है,
के लिए कोई भी यज्ञ नहीं, सुख के लिए सब यज्ञ करते हैं मगर दुख ही आता है. दुख के लिए कोई यज्ञ नहीं करता है कि हमें दुख दीजिए, आ ही
जो हमें
जाता है,
करना
वैसे
चाहिए,
सुख ही
जो हमें
आने वाला
करना
है.
चाहिए वो नहीं करते हम, you know. हमें
हाँ,
भगवान की भक्ति करनी चाहिए तो इस संसार से बाहर निकल सकते हैं. मगर
very
इस
true प्रभु जी.
but 99.99% people are so much engrossed in material pursuits that the whole human life form is totally wasted. You know,
because as I told you, what is there in our prarabdha, that means what the Lord has kept for this lifetime, it will be available at some time frame or the other. There is no requirement for anything else. It will come definitely whether you want it, whether you do not want it.
that's
But
why Isavasam verse says it's our
yes,
quota, and the Lord has already reserved that quota and kept separately for us. You know, when time comes, we'll get it. You know.
Krishna
Lord
Prabhuji.
has given us, the Lord has given us our share, and we should not take more than what the share is, because that will be called as theft only. Even though
And
you are earning, that is theft only as per our Shastra.
in Bhagavad Gita, what it says that we should do our duty, don't expect results, and keep doing whatever we can. You know.
Yes.
Prabhuji, welcome
Yeah.
back. By the way,
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
I thought you were in
So
India.
yeah, this is the last, maybe next week, and I'm available back again. I'm going on 1st of March back, but I'll be able to join. Just I missed some many classes, Prabhuji. So
Thank you.
Prabhuji, question comes here, Prarabdha, right? And there's always this debate on that. Like you Prarabdha, you don't do anything and it will come automatically. But there's another side also. You have to work, and then Prarabdha will fructify that
That's
efforts.
what Prabhuji made it very clear. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean that we don't do anything about it. You know, we have to do something about it, whatever we do our part. But
Yes.
इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि 24 घंटे उसी के पीछे पड़े रहे.
Right.
हमारे पास कुछ
True.
करना है, भगवान की भक्ति करनी है.
Yeah. If it is not going to happen, it's not going to happen to us, because despite our many efforts, if that is not going to come, that means it was not in our prarabdha. That's how we look at it, right, Prabhuji?
So Krishna doesn't say that you remain completely unaware of it, your duties. You do that. You know?
Yeah.
Everybody has to work. Everybody has to work. You know.
No, but Prabhuji, again on that Python's example, well, because we are talking in context with the Python, the another word says that Python remain, even if food doesn't come, don't get agitated, don't endeavor anything, and stay there in that position and wait for something to come. So if that is the way you look at it, then what we talk make effort, that doesn't justify Prabhuji. It contradicts for me at least.
No.
Prarabdha, and Purusartha, they go side by side. And if somebody works very hard, he will get what is ordained for him in his prarabdha. He will not get more than that. If somebody thinks I will work for 24 hours in a day, throughout the year I will earn much more, that is not the
That
thing.
will, yes.
Like you would have seen many people, they are very, very hardworking, sincere, but outwardly they do not get that much which the other person by doing much less effort is getting. It is for that reason.
Yes, Prabhuji, I understand. So just 30 seconds, Prabhuji, I had been to Galta is a place where Baldev Vidyabhushan ji sat and wrote Govinda Bhashya, right, Prabhuji, which you are going to study.
Galta, yes.
Yeah, Galta is a place where one devotee, Galwan, he meditated for 60,000 years, and there are a lot of stories on that. But that is the place where there's the Lord Ram temple is there. Inside that, there's a big room. It's a big hall. That is where Baldev Vidyabhushan ji is mentioned. That's what they're saying there. Govind ji, right? Who gave he dictated that. He sat in that. It's just a few kilometers from that temple. It's in a mountain. That is the area. And right now, I just want to visit inside, but I think that it's a locked with controversy and the Supreme Court and all that. But beautiful place, serene place, and I can see inside some tables. I can see something. That's one he wrote there. That's the place Govindji dictated him. That's the place he debated with Sri Sampradaya, right? Ramanandi Sampradaya. The Pujari I met him was Sri Sampradaya Pujari. I asked him why there's a controversy that it's not open, but he could, he didn't elaborate, but he was from Sri Sampradaya, that Pujari, sitting there. And it's a big hall, and I can see one photo. I can see a desk there. Can see some inside the glass something, but it is under course review. So it was nice. I can share some photo from distance that it looks, and it was really motivational because we are going to study, and the place where Govindji dictated, and Govindji, when you see that, so nice, Prabhuji, you get a really enlightenment in Jaipur, right? That is all
Take
things
some
are in Jaipur.
pictures. Would you take some pictures and bring it us for us?
I'll share, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Any other question or comment?
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी। प्रभु जी, जिह्वा के बारे में बहुत अच्छा बताया है कि अगर जिसी ने भी टंग को कंट्रोल कर लिया, एवरीथिंग कैन बी कंट्रोल्ड देन।
यस,
लाइक हमारा शिक्षाष्टकम में जो श्लोक है रूप गोस्वामी जी ने दिया है, वाचो वेगम मनसा क्रोध वेगम, जिह्वा वेगम उदरपस्थ वेगम। तो वो बहुत ही अच्छी बात है प्रभु जी।
any other question or comment?
प्रभु जी, मुझे सिर्फ एक ही बात, मतलब पिंगला जो थी उनको इतनी शॉर्ट नोटिस में कैसे रियलाइजेशन हो गया होगा। मतलब बहुत ही अच्छी बात होती है कि हम लोग तो करते फिर भी इतना रियलाइजेशन नहीं होता है, कुछ इम्प्लीमेंट भी नहीं कर पाते हैं। तो मतलब वो सुकृति से उनको मिला होगा कि डायरेक्ट मर्सी ऑफ लॉर्ड।
Because at times the Lord is more than merciful without any reason, what is known as hetu ki kripa. Without any reason, he becomes very, very merciful to the devotee, and the devotee he realizes. Like you would have heard examples of many people who not doing anything at all, not doing any devotional service, still they are able to approach the Supreme Lord, and the Supreme Lord coming in front of them. And please remember, nothing is happening without the grace of the Lord. If we think I am doing devotional service and the Lord is very happy, that's why he has fulfilled my desires and he has come in front of me. That is not the thing. It is only because of mercy, his mercy. And that comes to some people. And Pingala was very, very happy, and that's why her story is contained in the Srimad Bhagavatam.
वेरी ट्रू प्रभु जी, वेरी ट्रू। तो मतलब प्रभु जी मिजरी इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट। अगर मिजरी है तो हमारा स्पिरिचुअल ग्रोथ होना संभव है, तो ही हमें पता चलेगा कि मिजरी अगर नहीं है होती है, सब अच्छा अच्छा है, तो कभी भी हमें रियलाइज नहीं होगा कि इससे बाहर निकलना है।
Yes,
There
that's
will be a
why
one.
the Lord, that's
There will
why
be a
the
one.
Lord deliberately is giving us, and we should be very happy if the measure is come.
यस प्रभु जी, वेरी ट्रू।
There is a positive aspect of sufferings. Actually, suffering makes us make progress on the devotional path. There's a whole chapter is going to be there in my thesis.
Okay, if there are no questions, then I have got a question. Like you saw, the Brahmana, the Avadhuta Brahmana learned from so many people, and more is awaiting also. But tell me, what do you learn from a person who criticizes you? By seeing you, he started criticizing, he tries to find fault in you. What do you learn from such a person? Are you grateful to him or not?
यस प्रभु जी, वी शुड ग्रेटफुल टू हिम बिकॉज उसने हमारी कमी दिखा दी।
Prabhuji,
तो
this is
हम
the
उसमें
very
हम
subject matter. Prabhuji, this is the very subject matter we'll be talking about in Bhikshu Gita.
Yes, yes.
क्योंकि वो अब अगर हमें हमारी कमी नहीं बताएंगे तो हम सुधार नहीं पाएंगे। हम समझेंगे कि हम में तो बहुत ही अच्छी अच्छी क्वालिटी है और हम तो बहुत एडवांस है, ऐसा ही समझेंगे। अगर जब तक हमें कोई हमारी बताते नहीं है, हम लोग को करेक्ट नहीं करते हैं, तो इट इज वेरी गुड प्रभु जी।
Yes,
हरे
yes.
कृष्णा प्रभु जी। और ये भी कहा जाता है एक चीज और, जब कोई भी हमें क्रिटिसाइज करता है, हमारी निंदा करता है, तो हमारी एब्सेंस में सपोज किसी और के सामने, तो उससे हमारा प्रारब्ध जो है वो खत्म होता है। ये बहुत, क्योंकि प्रारब्ध बड़ा मुश्किल है खत्म होना, लेकिन ये एक चीज, निंदा एक ऐसी चीज है कि ये उसको खत्म करने में हेल्पफुल होती है। तो हमारे कर्म, हमारा एक्चुअली हमारे पुण्य बढ़ रहे हैं। कोई हमें क्रिटिसाइज करता है, हमारे पुण्य को बढ़ा रहा है।
Yes, but it is like if somebody criticizes you, then your sins will get destroyed and his piety will come to you. But please remember, the prarabdha is not getting cancelled or getting reduced by this. Prarabdha has a different connotation at all. What the Lord has given, what the Lord has allotted to us in this life, which is known as prarabdha, we have to go through it. But seeing us suffering, the Lord becomes very, very merciful and He takes away something, some amount out of it. But still, you have to suffer, because otherwise, what will happen if all the prarabdhas they get cancelled just by say Saranagati? If like the Lord is nullifying everything what we have done in our millions and billions of lifetimes, why can't He take away this small little thing of prarabdha? This is because if prarabdha is taken away, then immediately the individual will cease to exist. That means he will die. And seeing him, the others, non-believers, they'll say, see, this chap was worshipping the Supreme Lord and he died instantly. And the Lord doesn't want that. That's why
Okay.
He has made a rule. We have to suffer something. Most of the things He will excuse us, He will nullify. But something we have to, like you would have seen, very, very great saints, they also suffered till the end. So it is because of this reason. But prarabdha, remember, we have to suffer, we have to go through that. There is no doubt about it. But all our sanchit karma or kriyaman karma, they can get nullified. There is no doubt about it.
Yes, Prabhuji, yes. संचित कर्म हमारे आर नलिफाइड.
Any other question or comment? That means if you see anything and anybody in this material world, there is at least something to learn from each of the things. We should have that vision, then only we will be able to learn.
प्रभु
Prabhuji,
जी
good.
प्रभु जी, इवन जो बैड पीपल हैं या कोई बैड क्रिएचर है, कोई भी, हम इवन बैड एक्टिविटीज कर रहे हैं, इवन देन वी कैन लर्न फ्रॉम दैट क्रिएचर, बिकॉज वो जो कर रहा है नेगेटिवली, हम उससे पॉजिटिव वे में वी कैन लर्न. बहुत सारी हर एक चीज, हम हर चीज से सीख सकते हैं, छोटी से छोटी चीज से.
Okay, see, but look at it the other way. Like somebody is doing, say, the injustice to me, it also would have been in my some previous lifetime, I would have done some injustice to him. That's why he is trying to get it nullified. And 99.9% of the cases, it is like that only. If somebody is not behaving very respectfully to us or doing harm to us, we would have done some harm to him in some lifetime. That we have to understand. That means for all our happenings, all our actions, we should also think that it is because of our previous sins. That's why this is happening.
Yes,
Yeah,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I just on that, I was just question, like if everything is connected with our prarabdha, the people giving trouble, I'm just taking that example, but also new things are also created. So how to assume, how to make out that, it's only because of my prarabdha, it is possible that other person is he's giving us back or taking us those things. It's new things are also created, right?
Yeah, we also create new things.
Right.
But yes, what you asked is a very relevant question. If somebody is, say, doing wrong thing to me, because if I think I must have done something wrong to him in previous life, then what is his duty? Then he should be self-controlled and he should think that I should not behave this way because that is the independence given by the Supreme Lord, then he will be benefited. Then if he also does this, he won't know how much I had done and how much he should do, and there will be an imbalance, and he will also earn the sin for that. Actually, these are very intricate things. That's why
Yeah.
the only thing we should follow the Shastra and the Sadhus only, because with our intelligence it is very difficult to
Difficult.
determine anything about it.
Yeah, it's very difficult, Prabhuji. So it makes, just take it like somebody is hurting us. That means it's our prarabdha. It's better to assume. But instead of going to the karmas, and to go to the bottom of karma is very difficult. To see whether new things are he creating or we are suffering because of that. So, Prabhuji, I have just last one question. That Avduta, that person mentioned, Brahmana Avduta, do we know his identity? Because in Maharashtra, we believe it's a Dattatreya, Lord Dattatreya. He's the person.
Yes, Prabhuji, many
Yeah,
from
he is
many
the
places.
Tatreya.
Yes,
Okay.
he is Dattatreya only.
But here it's not mentioned explicitly, not mentioned, right?
Not in Bhagavatam, but in other Shastras it is mentioned that.
Okay.
Yes,
That's okay. Thank you.
it is confirmed, it is Dattatreya.
Okay.
And Dattatreya was the sixth incarnation of the Supreme Lord, as per Bhagavatam. He is the Supreme Lord only, and he is teaching us.
यस प्रभु प्रभु जी मेरा एक डाउट है ऐसा कि एक इंसिडेंस ऐसा बना है कि इंदौर में अभी हुआ है कि एक लड़के ने एक लड़की को मार दिया है, तो इसमें भी कर्म का रोल होता होगा प्रभु? कैसे समझ सकते? कोई किसी को ऐसे मार देता है किसी की हत्या कर देता है, तो वो भी कुछ कर्म का उसमें लगता है प्रभु जी, कि वो तो विकर्म ही हो गया ना प्रभु जी।
Yeah. As we see Vikarma, suppose you for the time being assume that this person who was killed, he had done harm to him, he had killed him in his any of the previous lifetimes. But in this lifetime, this other person who is killing now, he has got the choice. He should be humble and he should show his patience and should not harm this person. That is his duty as a human being. But what was earlier we do not know, but from the Shastras we are told that it is somehow connected. But how much connected, in what way, in what lifetime, under what circumstances, we are not aware of all these things. That's why we should follow what is being taught to us now.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So thank you, Prabhuji. Well done, actually. So let's conclude the class.
Okay, then we'll conclude the class with the Nrsimha prayers.
Prabhuji. Dipti Mataji, would you like to do Narsim prayers? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, thank you. Namaste Narasimhaya, Namaste Narasimhaya, Praladaladaine, Praladaladaine, Hiranyakasipupakhya Silatankaranakhalai Ito nasinga parato nasinga Ito nasinga parato nasinga Yato yato yami tato nasinga Bahina singa, Rudayena singa, Bahina singa, Rudayena singa, Narasinga mati, Saranam prapate, Tabakara kamala bhare, Nakam adbhuta srungam. Dalita Hiranyakasyapu Tanubhrungam Kesavadruta Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisa Hare Jaya Jagadisa Hare Jaya Jagadisa Hare Jaya Nrsimhadev, Jaya Nrsimhadev, Nrsimhadev, Jaya Nrsimhadev, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, जय श्री लक्ष्मी नृसिंह भगवान की जय, जय श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, चारू प्रभु जी की जय, जय चरत प्रभु जी की जय और समवेत डिवोटीज की जय, सर्वे वैष्णव जय। थैंक यू माता जी, थैंक यू गुरु जी, थैंक यू प्रभु जी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
Thank you, Mataji, Dipti Mataji.
Thank you very much. Then we meet next weekend.
Next Saturday, my second part of my
Yes, probably.
will be there. Same time like last time, same link and
Yes,
everything.
yes.
But I'll send you the circular again, okay? It will be 3-part series now.
Okay.
Every 2 weeks,
Thank
you
you.
know. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Very
sir,
nice.
Prabhuji. Thank you, Chandra Bhai.
Thank